Alright everyone, welcome back to Bin Chicken Rag. So I'm at Sydney Airport right now. So I'm about to talk. Well, that was rare. Normally I always have my camera here in my carry-on bag, and it normally gets flagged to wait for the secondary screening, but that didn't happen today. Alright, so it's 6:30 in the morning that my flight is. It's currently 10:26. Boarding starts at 10. I need to eat breakfast. So I just got into the room, so let me catch you up on everything. So, for starters, Sydney Airport, it just went through some changes and stuff. So, the whole security areas had a bit of a change. If you haven't been through there before, like I didn't know it had changed. If you've been through other airports, unfortunately, they didn't get the Melbourne system, which would have been a lot nicer, where you don't have to continue wearing your jacket and everything. It's more the Brisbane system. Is this magnetic? This is magnetic. Yeah, it's more the Brisbane system, so jacket still comes off, but everything stays in your bag now, which is fantastic. So, yeah, that's where we're at on that. So, I'm staying at Brady Hotels, Jones Lane. So this is the first place I've stayed in Melbourne that has stayed open after I've stayed there, which is funny because they gave me a thank you card for having stayed here more than once. I'd stay more places if places stayed open. So today's plan is to go to the zoo. It's 9:20, so they opened 20 minutes ago. Yeah, so today is Melbourne Zoo, so expect a video on that in either next week or maybe the week after. And then tomorrow is the movie, so I've got the 10:30 session, or 10:15 session at the IMAX. Yeah, so that'll be in the full IMAX 70mm thing. Doing that with my friend Jordan, and then after that, I think I'm gonna head down to maybe the Shrine of Remembrance. So there will be a video on that maybe, and if we decide to do it, Lightscape, which is on for the next couple of weeks. I think it finishes the 2nd of August, so that might get next week's release spot, and then I'll do everything else sequentially, like the zoo and all that. But yeah, so that's where I'm at with everything. I'm gonna jump down to the zoo and start doing my video for that. So first up we have the gorilla rainforest, which you go through this bottle shape of building. It's going to take you into the free roam Lima Island. So you can tell from the netting in here, and as I said before, everything here in this one is free roam for the lemurs. All they ask is you keep 1.5 meters away from them.
Will they see us?
And then you exit into these little huts and you go around. So what makes this zoo a thematic mega house, if you will, are things like what we've just seen with, you know, these, but also take a look behind me. It wouldn't even register to you that there's a path right there, just on the other side of those plants. So a lot of, especially these first two areas, so the gorilla rainforest and the forest of wonder, I believe it's called, is just covered in, like, I'll turn off tracking so you can see, but all this bamboo. So it doesn't actually click for you that there's a path just on the other side of that. I'm trying to turn tracking back on. So, you know, there can be a path 2 meters away. You wouldn't know it, you wouldn't hear it, because the vegetation is so dense in these areas. Sorry about the zoom there, but to prove my point, you can see just there, so the pink brick there, that's the edge of the zoo. And then you can see just the path in front of that, and then, like, yeah, that's how far away you are from other paths, and you don't realize. So before we go into the temperature appropriate butterfly house, have this very Vietnamese themed.
Do you see how high they flew?
Area. So this is where they used to have the elephants until last January, end of January last year, early Feb. So I'll get to that once I get out of the butterfly house, but they kind of haven't filled the area, and so it's largely dead up here of animals. Oh, I love it in here. butterfly shark teaches you all. Being back out here, I like the fresh air, not the temperature. Okay, so the butterfly shop is closed, unfortunately. This is the plaza area where they had the elephants. So there's an eatery there, got the Bongsu function center. Then just up here was the kind of elephant house, where when the rollers were open you can see them getting their bath, getting fed and everything. And then looks like you can't go through there anymore, but because that sign down there says path closed, retrace your steps. But that was the other elephant paddock, so that was one thing I was hoping to go through, especially last year, if I was able to come out before the elephants left. Basically what you've got is 3 elephant paddocks, and then so in like an L shape, and then the human path also goes in an L shape but crosses over. So instead of walking around it or whatever, it goes through it. So I'm not sure if you'd be able to see it, but basically you are meters away from the elephant's gate. So it's very Thai style gate. That's an elephant walkway. They just opened that thing as if it was like a railroad crossing at another theme park, like say SeaWorld, Dreamworld or whatever. But basically the elephants could come right up to wherever the gate was open to, and then like we were walking through basically. So that was the one thing that I absolutely loved about this zoo here. They've taken a lot of notes from theme park design as well as zoo design to make this one of the best zoos you'll ever come to. Just going to throw it out there too, this would be a mad place to skateboard through. Like the curves and these paths on the slight downhill, fucking awesome. So you can see up there another one of the gates, and then just to the left of that was a viewing area. So this was the 3rd paddock. I believe the one just over there was the first one, and then the big one was up near the back end there. But let's see if I can find the right place. So you can just see through the trees to where it is. It's clearly been closed for a while because of all the leaf litter though. There's a butterfly on my back.
See, he doesn't like either of you. Oh, he's good. Where's he going? It's just like something out of school. It's like his bed.
It's actually 6 months apart, which is very, very handy for us keepers and our memory.
6 months old, the other is 1
But
year
yeah,
old.
they're doing amazing. They're growing very, very quickly. Harvey, who's the almost 1 year old,
Look at the
is
neck
about
on the right.
10 kilos now. So they're born at about... Right, guys.
Guys,
Welcome to Lion Park.
I'm like Italy.
Oh yes,
Over there, that's it. Hi, what's that?
Saratoga.
Oh, this
Look at all the other fish.
Honey, the fiddy's at the back. You want mommy to show you the fiddy?
So this camera can't quite get close enough, but you can see that's a parent, so that's supposed to be Mishka. And then a couple of tiny kitties and another kitty. So you'll notice a lot of this area uses plants that have a lot of white in them. It goes really well with the aesthetic for the snow leopard exhibit. But yeah, as I was saying, there's a lot of white used in this area to kind of match the aesthetic, that kind of, almost like Arctic type look that the snow leopards are designed for. Alright, this is the path to Oddyssey, which is a fantastic themed aquatic area. This is genuinely amazing the first time you walk in. You're about to see why. Even the floor, it's textured and spongy and stuff. So this is the seal exhibit. They're probably up top somewhere, or in another area, because there is another area which you can see from up top. It's actually amazing in here. Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah. Peter and Leo, out. Closing.
Sorry. All our babies. No giant poop though.
The first day. So when you're coming home with Dad.
I remember. Oh, I love those.
Also, back onto the theme. This is a temporary attraction, and they've got Jurassic World style fencing, temporary fencing. We've got a parallel. Alright, it's morning time now. It's like 9:15. Today's Odyssey day, so I'm gonna go meet Jordan at a cafe. We're gonna have some breakfast and then go to the movie. So this is where we're having breakfast, Operator Diner. Jones Lane, I think it is, which is basically the same block as the hotel. So Jordan's running late because buses and stuff, but she'll be here in a minute. That's the Royal Exhibition building. I found Jordan, and we're walking through the gardens now to go to the IMAX. Yeah. Alright, Museum Plaza, that is a nice tree. So IMAX is over there, museum's behind it, and looks like they're not doing projections, but it's also like 10 in the morning and not dark, so I have noticed they've been projecting. Actually, I think that's what that black box on the post is for. They've been projecting onto the building. When I was here 2 years ago for Furiosa, when the first screening opening day when I came out, they had this whole area lit up with a couple of MFP Pursuits, an Interceptor, some bikes from Fury Road and all that, so that was cool. Nothing major here. It's also a week later, so I wouldn't expect something major like that. But let's head down. Just held a squat for 40 seconds. My legs hurt. So I've just come out of the movie, but before I start talking about this is an IMAX film roll. So that over there, right? So everyone knows that part, but so 1.7 meters of this each second, laid flat. The movie covers 17.4 kilometers, and at 3 hours it weighs 232 kilograms. So I don't know if this is an actual film, I can't see the writing on it, or if it's just a mock-up. But this is something you can come and see if you see it in Melbourne. And these are 3 different prints you can buy for $36 each as long as stocks last. I ended up buying that boat. Okay, so it turns out the top one is the Everest film. Not sure what the bottom one is. Bottom one is episode 7. Force Awakens, which I did end up seeing here. Alright, so we just came out of live action SpongeBob movie. Remembering that we don't have microphones, because I left them back in the room. What did you think?
I thought it was a great film. Questionable adaptation.
I felt the start was good, end was good, middle was a bit. It's slower than like Tarantino and The Godfather, which is probably why a lot of people have been saying it's a bit how you gone, just because it does get slower than arguably some of the greatest films ever made. Which, yeah, does get a bit mind-numbing when it's a 3-hour film.
In the morning.
That too. 10-15 session. And when I'd already been up for about 6 hours at that point.
Happy time.
Yes, I have a bad apple mother or monster sitting in the room that I need to try. But yeah, I will go through, I think, more of my thoughts later. But yeah, we need food. Alright, now we've made it to the Shrine of Remembrance. So I've always wanted to come here. This has been a long time coming, considering I've been to Melbourne a handful of times, never actually got a chance to make it here. So we caught the train down to Anzac Station and here we are. The Eternal Flame, commemorating World War II. The shrine up there. Alright, so there's a visitor centre that is open for open house that Jordan is, I think, excited about. No idea what it is. She says it's an architecture festival.
It's great. It's great.
This wall contained 4,000 service members, which represents 100 Victorians who served Australia in rural peacekeeping and 6 who don't die. stairs. Toffee. I just noticed that it's a poppy. We've got the Botanic Gardens.
Is that our something there? I think it is. Our church, the one with the spire.
Yeah, can't quite see the Narlex. Oh, yes, you can. Narlex clock's over there. MCG over there. Just see the Narlex clock in the distance there. Anzac monuments really like being parallel to roads. Sydney has it with Hyde Park. This place has it with whatever road that is. And Canberra has it with the Parliament House. And yes, there's a face on that building. Alright, so I don't know if it actually came through on my phone, but they had the film reel for Force Awakens displayed, as well as the Everest 3D film reel. So the film reel for Odyssey is like 17 k's long and is 200 and something kilos. So that's how big of a film this thing is, especially when you realize the film's only like that big, and like the individual films sell. It was also cool to see they had a preview of Dune 3 at the start, and then what was it? The reel that they put out the other week of them like undoing and setting up the film reel for the movie, which has a funny little thing on it. A picture of Abe from Abe's Odyssey is right next to the opening word of Odyssey, which I'm surprised they actually put in the big main thing that shows up and not just the reel. But yeah, so I did end up getting, both me and Jordan got this. There were 3 of them. There was this one, there was a more book and chess piece looking one, which gets worse the longer you look at it, and then a more modern one which is closer to the movie posters. Excuse me. So yeah, I ended up getting that one. I wouldn't have minded, at least at the time, the chess one, but then the longer I looked at it, the worse it got. There was too much detail in the people for me to, like it. But where I stand on the movie, so it is slow, like Godfather slow or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood slow. But even though the story keeps progressing, it still feels like just a bunch of small moments of time that are being told. So very much like Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's also got probably just as much bloodshed. So don't go into it expecting, Kill Bill, like I think everyone is, especially being such a war-heavy film. You're not getting that. But you are getting some other things like Cersei, that is definitely body horror. And the Celia really leaned into Cloverfield kind of territory. Not horror so much, but Cloverfield. Cersei though, definitely horror, straight up body horror. Yeah, there's someone who started carrying around, Eclipse mints purely to stop their stomach from going crazy, and can get queasy when things like that happen. I immediately saw that happening, threw one in just to suck on through the segment because I knew that is something that might, set this thing off. So the start's good, the ending's good, the middle, that's where the Tarantino really comes out. It's very slow. This is the first time I've heard a Chris Nolan film, so being able to hear things, that definitely helps, but there were some moments where, you couldn't hear things. The casting controversy, so my thoughts are Lupita, she was perfect, right? She fit in. I didn't think she's out of place. Playing Helen or her sister, right? She did that flawlessly. Elliot, so I don't watch Umbrella Academy, so I haven't really seen any of his roles since Inception. So hearing the voice change from what I know, that was the jarring part for me. So yeah, but everyone knows how they end up in the movie. Not much screen time, but they do pretty well. I'll say it's like 3/4 of the way through in the Hades sequence. Yeah, there's the other. So the hardest sell for me in the movie was actually Charlize Theron. So she's, how do I put it, too Hollywood looking, too kind of chiseled, and too, I guess, perfect compared to how everyone else in the film looks. So that was different because, like, I'm used to seeing her as Furiosa and she's just playing kind of the same thing almost. So that was, yeah, that was the thing that took me away. Robert Pattinson didn't really do that because I just saw Robert Pattinson. I wasn't like, I've only seen him in Batman and the Twilights, so I was able to kind of lose myself in that, and because he played the character, he did so well. Also, the movie, it does help to do some research before, if you know about Greek mythology. If you don't, just go into it, you're fine. But yeah, if you do, like, I've put in probably hundreds of hours into Age of Mythology, so I had to kind of, but I haven't, read the book. It wasn't something that we had to read at school, like the schools I went to. So I was trying to kind of bring in the knowledge that I knew, especially from Age of Myth, into this to work out what's happening. Especially because story mode, I think it's the Fall of the Trident campaign, that takes moments from here while it butchers it up and spreads it across Egypt, Midgard, and all that. There's still moments like men being turned into pigs. That's touched on in the campaign, as well as a couple other things. But yeah, if you don't know Odysseus, you'll enjoy it more. But I guess that goes with the whole book is better than the movie thing. They have to cut things and all that. Yeah, but I think the cut thing that probably got me the most was the Cilia, purely because I'm used to seeing the Age of Myth unit, so I was hoping to see, a magical Leopleurodon with 6 heads. Didn't happen. Instead we got Clover. But yeah, and then there's just my autism brain ticking over, thinking the logistics of things like the horse that they built and the raft that he did and everything. But other than that, it's a good film. It's a long film. Yeah, would recommend. I probably won't go watch it again myself, purely because it is slow. But at the same time, if clips come up on, you know, YouTube down the line, and it'll help me understand the movie a bit more, then I'll go and watch those. But yeah, yeah. Alrighty, it's morning time now on the Sunday, so I leave here in a few hours. So today's plan of attack, I want to try KFC's new breakfast menu and pick up the, I think it's the Stitch bottle I want from, not Gongcha, I think it's Gacha. It's not Gacha, it's the one that does the Pokemon bottles. Anyway, yeah, I want to grab one of them and then jump up to Melbourne Museum, film a video, and then if I have time, Australian Centre for the Moving Image, otherwise known as ACME, used to be Screen Worlds. They've changed things. So they're the two things I always do when I come here. Yeah, so Melbourne Museum is being done first because it opens at 9, which is now. Meanwhile, Acme at 10. Yeah, so even if I can get into thing before 9, before 10, my times work out well anyway. Yeah, but I'd still really like to get down to Acme because they have a play school exhibition that finishes this week. So I wouldn't mind seeing, you know, Big Ted, Little Ted, Jemima and all that. But I'm in front of the library now, and I'm going to duck in the back way to the lower KFC. Okay, so that was more or less a frivolous task. The KFC doesn't do breakfast, and nothing here opens until like 10:30, including Gotcha, which means I need to double back. This place is like the opposite of Sydney. Everyone does stuff like instead of, you know, first thing in the morning. So it's 9:30 now. I'm headed to the museum. Start to knock that out. So I finally made it to Gotcha. Right ahead is the forest gallery, where you'll find the rainforest, but I always like to start this way. It seems so today. Blue whale. Or maybe it's Sydney that has those hanging. Really puts into consideration the size of them, and then size of your grill as well. Just noticed on the back of the whale, we've got some of their teeth and other art. It's cool. Recently found out that whale teeth is a big thing in Fijian culture. First things first, we need to find fluoride. I need to remember where it's actually on the shelf too. There it is. Found the Nazi stone. Anyone wondering, just go back and watch my video on Sydney Museum. I'm fairly sure I explained that there. Journey inside a volcano. This used to be in 3D. Action zones. This dinosaur walk. You can actually walk down and get close to them. There's the screen one. So, Liber, for anyone that thinks they get their name from what they do, look at the spelling. It's spelled L-Y-R-E, as in like the musical instrument, so they get their name from the fact that it looks like, you know, the musical instrument, the lyre, which is, I think, a string instrument, kind of like a personal harp, if you will. The tops are faded dinosaurs. Really nice color. Zoo has my favorite rainforest. Holy shit! This is an Asian elephant. It doesn't have any story on here, but fucking hell. So, for context, my back's against the wall. My camera is not zoomed in. That's insane. So came to the zoo from 1977. He was 5 years old. The next 30 years he grew to an impressive 5 tons and 5 pounds. Bongsu stands in mining. As he touched his openness and reflecting the next size for him to put it into. The Bongsu Function Center. This is cool. It's part of the gallery called Roots. Scribbly gum, I think. Okay. So this is cool. You put your hand on that, watch the screen, but like it vibrates and then it appears. Okay, so they make their calls outside of human hearing range. Yeah. No copy. The birthday boy.
Violet began as an underdog. Arriving from New Zealand, he was skinny and awkward. Trainer Harry Telford studied.
Things on display. You can also buy them on the website. There's also sad order merchandise. Alright, so that's Melbourne Museum completed. What exhibition building there behind me. So what's good about this one, especially over Sydney, is this goes with Acme as well, where I'm about to head to. They're aware of what their merchandising should be. So a lot of the stuff in there, you still have your generic stuff, your books, your everything, but there's a lot of branded stuff for the museum, like heaps of stuff on Far Lap, Sad Otter, exhibition building, everything. You don't get that out of Sydney's museums. It's just kind of generic stuff, which I'd like to see more stuff dedicated to the actual place you're in, but doubt that'll happen. Alright, I've made it down to Federation Square, which is where you'll find the Australian Centre for the Moving Image, otherwise known as Acme.
This one's the 1990s.
Showing countdown on the old TV in the 70s one. 1980s, the iconic pool room. And now, 2000s, they are clearly plain bluey. So on this side you have the car from Bush Mechanics. This gallery, let's split it into the Bush Mechanics car. So I'm at the airport now, and they've built this Lego model filled with all these details from like the Millennium Falcon and that. Which is cool, and you've got the Lego store just over there. I've landed. I'm back at the car now. It's just like Odysseus. He got most of the way home, but then had to go to the temple on another island. I'm detouring via an NRL game. So I'm going to go watch the women's game of Roosters and Tigers. But before I get there, I broke my camera out because planes are currently doing the path right over the Blue Emu car park. So let's watch that. Great timing on the bus there. Oh, that's zoomed in. Yeah, I should probably be using my 360 camera for this, not the Osmo. But that's cool to see. Yeah, felt like doing a Wayne's World bit as they go over. And you know, did you ever find Bugs Bunny attractive and all that? But decided against it. Let's go to Leichhardt. Alright, made it to Leichhardt Oval now, first time. So just watched the girls do their warm-up. And Leichhardt tonight, other than, you know, the fact I used to work with one of the players, so Brooke Teletana, I think it's way too zoomed in. Yeah, used to work with her at IMAX, so I wanted to come down and see her play. I was going to try and do it last year, but she went through a knee surgery, so we didn't. So I made sure to come down here because there's no more men's games at Leichhardt Oval. But there's 2 women's games left, and this is the second last one. There's one more coming in a few weeks, so I was determined to come down to, you know, take in this legendary oval because of how well known it is. They're getting ready to come out because I can hear Tiger growling, and you can see Sarah Togutuki up on her little intro thing. But yeah, yeah, they're going to do a big renovation on this oval, so I wanted to come and experience it. Alright, so Brooke's just taken the field, she's in the purple there. And I notice, because I haven't been here, they've got the scoreboard and everything physical up there. It's cool to see. So it's half time now and the girls are getting absolutely pummeled. We've got a mini kids match going on now. So they're preparing for the second half, so the girls are going to be running towards me now, which means most of the game's going to be down the other half. For those that don't know, the Roosters are in the Women's League are basically the Panthers of the Men's League, if that makes sense. Like, they're top of the ladder year after year, winning everything. Yeah. One thing I like about this field, there's constantly planes going overhead. We finally just scored. finally. Still 32 floor though. And Brooke is currently in the sin bin with a minute 10 left.
No, use it.
Number 10. Number 10. Number 10. Number 10.
And it's game time. Alright, so just left the oval, got to go down to the edge, say hi to Brooke. She did remember me, which is cool. Yeah, briefly gave her an update on where we worked and when I left and all that. It was also two of the players. Their 50th game was tonight. One was Sarah Togatuki, who's like the name everyone knows, and someone else that I can't remember. But yeah, eventful game. Big score separation still. They can say something that the men can't. They've won games and they've scored in every game. The score separation was big this week, but at least, you know, last week the men didn't score. So there's that. But yeah, all in all, good game. The next home game and last Leichhardt game altogether is on 9/11. So it's Friday. Can't remember kickoff game, but that'll be the last ever game at Leichhardt before they start doing renovations to the change rooms and stands and all that. So if you want to come down, go for it. I'm going to see if I can try and make it, and yeah. Alright everyone, I'm back at home now, so if I can make this wrap up go for 29 seconds, the entire video should end up being exactly on 60 minutes. So yeah, I'm, you know, back in Ithaca, back home. So I got home, I don't know, 9:30 or something, 9 o'clock last night. I've slept and everything, and I'm just editing my videos now. And yeah, don't forget to touch some native grass, 26, 27, 28, 29.